If you're over 60 and you still think the biggest threat to your health is your heart, your blood pressure, or your cholesterol, I need you to stop for a moment, because there is something happening inside your body right now, something that most doctors don't measure, most patients never notice, and almost nobody talks about until it's already too late. And by the time you finish watching this video, you will understand exactly what it is, why it's been quietly working against you, and what a growing number of people have already started doing about it. My name is Dr. Samuel Prescott. I've spent years studying the biology of aging, and today I want to talk to you about one of the most underestimated threats to your independence, your mobility, and your quality of life as you get older. It has nothing to do with your arteries. It has everything to do with your muscle. Let me ask you something. Have you ever gone to stand up from a chair and felt that moment of effort, that brief struggle, that didn't used to be there? Or maybe you've noticed that climbing a flight of stairs leaves you slightly more winded than it once did. Perhaps you've looked at your arms or your legs and felt, without quite being able to name it, that something has changed, that there's less there, less strength, less solidity, less of you. If any of that sounds familiar, I don't want you to dismiss it as simply getting older, because what you might be experiencing is not just the passage of time. It may be one of the most clinically significant and most overlooked conditions affecting adults over 60 today. It's called sarcopenia. And the reason I'm making this video is because most people who have it don't know they have it until their body starts failing them in ways that are very difficult to reverse. Sarcopenia is a progressive, involuntary loss of skeletal muscle mass and strength that begins earlier than most people expect, often in your 40s, and accelerates as you age. By the time you reach 60, 70, or beyond, the effects can be severe. We're talking about reduced balance, increased fall risk, difficulty with basic daily movements, fatigue that doesn't go away with rest, and a gradual erosion of the physical independence that most of us take for granted until it's gone. But here's what I find most troubling about this condition. It's not just that it happens. It's how quietly it happens. There is no pain in the early stages. There is no sudden event that tells you something is wrong. The muscle simply disappears, slowly, steadily, year after year, and your body adapts just enough to keep you from noticing, until the deficit becomes impossible to ignore. Now I want to explain to you exactly what's happening biologically, because once you understand the mechanism, everything else will make sense. Your muscles are not static tissue. They are constantly being broken down and rebuilt in a process your body manages continuously throughout your life. When you're young, that cycle is efficient. Your body receives a signal to build, it responds, and the result is strong, dense, functional muscle. But as you age, something changes in the way your body processes that signal. The scientific term is anabolic resistance, and it is one of the central reasons why muscle loss accelerates so dramatically after 60. Think of it this way. Imagine you have a radio inside your cells, a receiver designed to pick up the signal that tells your body to build and maintain muscle. When you're young, that radio has perfect reception. Every signal comes through clearly, but as you get older, the reception deteriorates. The signal is still being sent, but your body can no longer pick it up with the same clarity. The result is that even when you eat enough protein, even when you try to stay active, your body responds less efficiently than it once did. You're putting the same effort or more and getting back less than you used to. This is not a failure of discipline or motivation. This is a biological shift that happens to virtually every human being, and understanding it is a first step toward doing something about it. And it gets more complicated, because alongside anabolic resistance, there's another factor working quietly in the background: low-grade chronic inflammation. This is not the inflammation you feel when you twist your ankle or get a cut. This is a subtle, systemic, persistent state of inflammation that increases as we age. Researchers sometimes call it inflammaging, the slow burn of immune activity that accompanies growing older. And this type of inflammation is destructive to muscle tissue. It interferes with the repair process. It degrades protein structures. It shortens the lifespan of muscle cells. And for most people, it's completely invisible, producing no obvious symptoms, just a steady erosion of the physical machinery your body depends on. Now here's where I want to introduce something that may surprise you, because it surprised me when I first looked carefully at the research. One of the most powerful, most accessible, and most underutilized nutritional tools for supporting muscle health after 60 is something you almost certainly have in your kitchen right now. It's inexpensive. It's been around forever. And it's been quietly outperforming far more expensive protein sources in study after study when it comes to the specific type of muscle support that aging adults need. I'm talking about eggs. Not as a trend, not as a superfood fad, but as a clinically compelling source of something your muscles desperately need more of as you age: leucine. Leucine is an essential amino acid, one your body cannot produce on its own, and it functions as the primary trigger for muscle protein synthesis. Think of leucine as the key that starts the engine. Without sufficient leucine, the muscle-building process simply does not begin, regardless of how much total protein you consume. And eggs are one of the most bioavailable sources of leucine available, meaning your aging body can actually absorb and use one of them far more efficiently than many other sources. 2 eggs contain enough leucine to meaningfully stimulate the anabolic signaling pathway that your body has been struggling to activate. And because of their complete amino acid profile, their high digestibility, and their combination of protein with natural fats that support cellular function, eggs provide a form of nutritional input that your muscles can actually use, even when anabolic resistance has made the process more difficult. But I want to be direct with you about something. Diet alone, even an optimized one, may not be sufficient to address what's happening in your body at this stage, because the problem isn't only what you're eating. It's the underlying biological environment that determines how your body responds to what you eat. The inflammation, the signaling dysfunction, the reduced capacity for cellular repair. And that's the part that most people are not addressing. That's the gap. And I want to pause here for a moment, because what I'm about to say is important. If you've been noticing any of the signs I've described, the difficulty rising from a chair, the fatigue on stairs, the feeling that your legs aren't as steady as they were, the sense that your muscles are somehow less present than they used to be, this is not something to wait on. I've seen what happens when people dismiss these early signals. They tell themselves it's just aging. They tell themselves everyone goes through this. And then one day they realize they've lost something they cannot easily get back. The window of response is real. Your body still has a capacity to respond. But that capacity narrows as time passes and the deficit deepens. This is not about fear. It is about understanding that the body you have right now is more capable of supporting itself than the body you will have if you continue to ignore the signals it's sending you. There's a natural method that a growing number of people have been using to support their muscle health as they age, not as a cure, not as a pharmaceutical intervention, but as targeted nutritional support designed to work with the biological processes I've just described. It's been developed with attention to specific mechanisms that make muscle maintenance so difficult after 60, the anabolic resistance, the inflammation, the reduced regenerative capacity. People who have incorporated it into their routine report feeling stronger, more stable, more capable of the daily movements that define functional independence. The link is in the description and in the first comment below this video. I encourage you to look at it, not because I'm asking you to make a decision right now, but because understanding what's available to you is always better than not knowing. Now let me continue, because there's more you need to understand. One of the cruelest aspects of sarcopenia is that it doesn't just affect how you feel today. It compounds. Every pound of muscle your body loses makes the next pound easier to lose. Your metabolism slows. Your balance deteriorates further. Your body becomes less efficient at using the nutrients you give it. And the risk of falls, which is one of the leading causes of hospitalization and loss of independence in older adults, rises steadily with each stage of muscle decline. I want you to understand what a fall means at 70 or 75. It's not just a physical injury. For many people, it is the event that changes everything. That ends independent living. That transfers control of daily life from your own hands into someone else's. I'm not telling you this to frighten you. I'm telling you because this is a trajectory that sarcopenia follows when it is left unaddressed, and because that trajectory is not inevitable. There is a difference between the people who age and gradually lose their capacity to live fully, and the people who age and maintain their strength, their stability, their ability to walk unassisted, to lift what they need to lift, to get up without help, to live on their own terms. That difference is not entirely genetic. It is not entirely luck. A significant portion of it comes down to whether or not you gave your body the support it needed at the right time before the window closed. And the window is still open for you right now, but it will not stay open indefinitely. The method I mentioned earlier, the one people are using to support their muscle function naturally, works specifically on the biological level I've described. It doesn't replace food or movement. It supports the environment inside your body that determines how effectively your cells can use the food and movement you're already giving them. It addresses the inflammatory backdrop. It supports the signaling pathways that anabolic resistance has suppressed. It gives your body what it needs to do the work that you are already asking it to do. And the people who have found it have largely found it because they were paying attention, because they watched something like this, because they did not dismiss the signs their body was sending, because they acted while they still could. You are watching this for a reason. Something brought you here. Maybe it was curiosity. Maybe it was something you've been noticing in your own body that you haven't wanted to name yet. Whatever brought you here, I want you to take one step before you leave. Go to the description below this video, or look at the first comment. The information you'll find there is about a natural approach to supporting your muscle health, the specific kind of support that addresses the mechanisms I've explained today. Read it. Understand what it is. Make a decision with full information. Because the difference between acting now and waiting another 6 months is not nothing. It is months of continued, unaddressed muscle loss. It is your body continuing to send signals that are going unanswered. You still have time to answer them. The link is waiting for you below.